Hello, welcome everybody to TFTV1. We're here today for some TF2 action with SVIFT versus Ascent. You'd think it's an A TF2, and you'd almost be right, because with me here on the mic is Cornpop, and on production is Wiethoofd. How are you doing, Cornpop?
I'm doing quite well. It's a bit early for me, but some good afternoon TF2, something I'm excited for, especially with these two teams. I recognize them. Maybe not the players, but the logos at the very least.
That's what I thought. Yeah, familiar names here. Also, big shout outs obviously to our sponsors this season, STN Trading and Scrap.tf, providing the nice little price pool we have, much bigger than in the recent past in ETF2L. It's really nice, and that brought out these two teams here to try to get some of that money. On currently the red side, we have SVIFT, different lineup from 2 seasons ago when they last played in EU. Still with Samzy leading the charge here. Now with Connor on Medic, Smirre on Demoman, Papi and Chris. Papi also currently going through a name change to McAZN. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'll probably still say Papi because I'm not used to it and I don't know how to say it, but that's the Solis on the scout. We have, like I mentioned, Samzy, as well as... Actually, I'm not sure. They have a different one every other day, basically, because both of their supposed mains don't have time all the time. And I see Mr. Epic, aka Mon, on the server, so I assume he's murking for them today.
Alright, so some roster changes, it sounds like, coming up here. That should be pretty exciting. Mr. Epic, he played on Low Panda, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and then is he playing in another team this season?
He's playing on a slight Low Panda revamp this season called the Bin, so it's like a core of Low Panda with some new players, and it definitely has some of that experience they have, but it's not quite the same. On the other side, we have Ascent going back to the roots, more like top 5 days now. All Frenchies, Omrek on Medic, Medico and Corbeck are the soldiers. Corbeck, however, this time the Pocket and Medico the Roma, as far as I know. So that's a slight change. Elakur again joining Omrek on the Demoman this season, and Opti, previous Demoman, now on Scout, with Neo, the old Scout, as well, joining the ranks once again.
And we should mention just really quick, there are 2 other ETF2L games going on right now. Velocity Esports versus TTD is going to be happening on teamfortress.tv 2, and then 7 versus Aura Electro, I believe, is being covered by Capping TV. So there's a whole bunch of TF2 to watch this evening, so that's always nice to see. And if one game ends early, or if it's just really, really awful, you can go check out the other one, or watch all 3 at the same time, if you're talented like some.
It wouldn't be a first day in the EU TF2 if it wouldn't be all the games happening on the same day. So, yeah, it's really great for production to have to scramble together people for that. But here we are. We are bringing you possibly the highest level game. Both of these are expected to do pretty well. Ascent had a tough start against Basku, and that made at least me doubt. I don't know about anybody else, but it made me doubt a little bit in their performance. I thought they had a pretty easy time taking third this season. They still do decently well against teams, but not as well as I thought they would. SVIFT, on the other hand, in previous performances looked pretty strong, and still my favorite contender for at least second place, if not to be the ones to take games from 7 potentially. So, despite what my expectations are for Ascent, regardless of anything else that happened, SVIFT are still going into this as a favorite, and they need to show them why here.
So this is exactly what I'm used to in North America. It's SVIFT and Ascent, both probably looking at 2nd and 3rd in the overall season. Roles are a bit switched if SVIFT are favored to come up on top here, but I think I would agree with you just by kind of looking at the stats, how these teams have performed in past weeks. Ascent's traded maps in week 1, and then SVIFT obviously got a 6-0 in their week 1 game. So we're only in week 2. I mean, you can't really look too deep into the results. There's only been 1 from each team. But even just that little start to the season shows that SVIFT are off at a bit stronger of a foot.
Yeah, definitely. I always like to look at scrims and see just how teams are generally doing. Maybe not from the scoreline, because like towards the end of scrims, a lot of random stuff is happening a lot of the times. But just the general way teams are performing overall on the maps is always interesting to see. And if SVIFT get momentum, they are really hard to stop. They like to play fast. They are really good at playing fast, and so far the only things that are really stopping them from doing that is the team beating them in DM fights, which I've noticed. Like, that's one of the best ways I've seen being combated SVIFT as, is just beating them at their own game, basically. Whereas stalemates are something they can beat, where Ascent is struggling much more with in comparison. So if Swift decides to slow down the pace, if they feel like they need to, then that's something that Ascent should have a tough time with.
I believe we're going live pretty soon here, so it is, I mean, Swift versus Ascent, two of the top teams in Europe, two of the top teams in North America as well, but these are the European teams, and it should be getting ready to go live. I mean, you said that you think Swift are favored in the stalemate situations, but, I mean, what's, like, the best chance, real quick, before we go live, that Ascent might have if they want to take at least this first map?
They need a good defense. They can't let Swift just get away with pushing, maybe not at random times, but at like at times where you wouldn't let anybody else go, basically. Like single pick, Swift loved those situations, and Ascent needs to be ready for this sort of things to punish it and hold them off in their tracks before they can get like any sort of momentum going with their plays.
Alright, well, they gotta be playing defensive, they gotta get ready to go. Yeah, do you have any predictions to go forth here? I think my predictions probably won't be very informed, but I feel like your predictions will be a little bit better.
It's tough, but I say 5-2 Swift. I think they're gonna take this decently convincingly, but Ascent's definitely gonna show up.
Alright, well, I'll just throw out a random guess to make it a little more favored. I'm gonna say 4-3 in favor of Swift. I believe in my boy Ombrak.
Well, we'll see here going live on CP Granary, first map of today. Second one will be Gullywash, first mid-fight on the way with demos flying in.
Elcor getting here a little bit slower than Smear. They're both pretty weak. Smear's gonna get that pack though, and Elcor really low before he manages to grab that, healed right back up. So they're gonna be fine starting off this mid-fight. OP running across, gonna be a big double soldier bomb from Ascent, landing down onto the point, focusing down Smear a little bit, but not getting a whole lot of damage. Meanwhile, the bombs in from Swift have been much more effective. Neo gonna get taken down, it's only Opti left alive, just sort of hiding, but he's being jumped up now by Poppy, and he will get that frag as well. So almost a complete ace, only 5 left alive on the side of Swift. Very dominating.
Yeah, you mentioned the bomb is just so much more effective by Swift. Ascent Solis going high, but really not targeted too well. Like one went for a demo, the other one just kind of landed on the point, didn't deal much damage, and they carried this momentum forward on Swift and just gave straight for last. Elko in a little bit of trouble. Escaped, but Uber has been popped kind of late. Monda is on the Uber, which is not helpful, but they just kept the point in the meantime while everybody's scared on the Uber. Point is being played contest by Ascent, will save the day.
Smear, the last player alive. He was going for a really crazy hero play there. I like the attempt, but Neo's gonna shut that one down. So that was a good defense, actually. They managed to kite that Uber pretty far back. They were able to get back in the spawn, and then Opti wrapped around and got a couple of frags from the flanks. So great defense. That's kind of what you were talking about before the game started. You know, having a good defense on the side of Ascent. Gonna be important. Now they're pushing into middle point. Getting aggressive. Samzy is on sniper.
Oh, he gets it.
Ooh.
Up down, medic off the table. Advantage for Connor. Assuming he can stay alive here.
Medico's trying to get out. He probably won't. Nope, Mon's going to be able to clean up that frag. So 45% on Connor, and they're now the ones in the aggressive seat, getting to push into yard here. With Ombrak going down, I mean, there's really nothing Ascent can do. Maybe they could go for a sack, but the fact they lost Medico as well just means it's so tough for them. Probably they're just going to sit back on last, play this a little more passively, and just cross their fingers they can do another miracle defense.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't set up any kind of good defense here, because the advantage is just that big. They really bank on getting in the force here, I assume. But that's kind of tough. Corbeck is going for something, but kind of delayed. Connor takes a huge pipe, but Corbeck is not in position to get the second shot in. Connor staying alive for now. Gets a super as well, so he can pop for safety. And they're having trouble capping, but eventually they do a pop into last.
Now they're getting aggressive. Corback still hasn't been able to aggress him from behind. Now he's going to be able to jump on that point, but they've already lost 2. Elicor and Medico both getting taken down. There goes Chris. So now a couple of frags being traded, but everybody in a sense going down. It's now left to a 3-on-2. Both medics still alive. Neo needs to be healed in some frags, but there was a nice pipe from Smear. He's just got to stay on that point. They cannot get off of it either team, and they will. A lot of melee weapons out there, but it finally will be 1-0 for Swift.
I think that's something you should be used to from an ATF2, but Connor is not a medic that tends to use the Ubersaw too much, surprisingly. Tends to prefer anything else, basically, so it's surprising to see him have it and use it as well in the first place here, and he kind of needed to, both Smither and whoever the other scout there was left alive, kind of beefing some shots at the end, but the medic has some weapons too, so just make use of that, I guess.
I like the aggressive medic play. It's managed to win them around. Now they're looking for their second one here. If they can get the good soldier bombs like they did last time, this will be effective. We see Chris with really high bombs. Kind of gets back to his team, though. Meanwhile, the rest of his team's charging forward. They're getting some frags, but they're all being traded 3-on-4, favoring Ascent now. And it looks like all 3 players left on Swift. Oh, they're trying to get out. They managed to find the frag and the core back. Took that 1v3. Now that puts it 3v3 overall. Mon's still running forward across that point. They're going to get OP very low, and now that's just Neo and Ombrak running away with only 2 players left alive. They're going to choose to get Ombrak out and save that overcharge.
Yeah, while Ascent Solis once again didn't have like a huge impact, it's not like they didn't do anything, but they haven't had like the same impact Swift Solis had on the first map. But regardless of that, they denied or dealt with the Swift Solis much better than last time. It wasn't a huge disaster just off of Chris and Party jumping in. So it kind of went even with that, and just pure DM at the end. Just Mon walking forward over the point confidently against 2 scouts, winning that for his team. And with that, Swift wins the mid, but not in a hugely convincing manner. Both medics survived a little scrappy fight there in garage, but nothing much happens of this as both Ubers are still fully up on the table.
And this is the classic point in Granary where one team's in yard, the other is in mid, and both of them have overcharge. So we'll see when this breaks. Looks like Chris is going to bomb in, but it was really tough for him to get in there. Kind of got stuffed, and Neo ends up getting the frag. Ombrak not having a pop for that, so still 100 on both sides. Ascent don't really seem like they have anything in response set up, so they're just going to be chilling out for a minute, maybe getting a little aggressive here in garage.
Yeah, they want to go for a place. Connor on the point. Medical goes for it, misses the air shot. No follow-up as well. Kobek was close, but he didn't decide to go in, surprisingly enough. And that's kind of what both teams were like preying on, I think. Both teams had a single Soli sack, while somebody was standing at an entrance to mid or second, respectively, just spamming. Here it was Kobek. On the other side, we had Smither and Choke just trying to hit Ombrak as well. There's some follow-up for Chris. Neither of them successful, so yeah, single Soli sacks is the most risk they want to take right now. And there we go, Chris once again trying to get through the garage door, but sticks and a rocket. We take him down very quickly.
The sad life of a roamer. Chris might have to do that a few more times before anything happens off of it. Neo's getting a little bit aggressive on this left-hand side, taking a bit too much damage though, but Mon will go down off of some damage there, so that's a 2-man advantage in favor of Ascent, and they're going to get Core back in with that. He's in a pretty good position to bomb in on Smear. He will get that frag. He's already taken a lot of damage. He'll die for that, but regardless, that's only 3 players left alive. Still fighting on this mid-fight for Swift, so they're in a bit of trouble now. Neo's in behind as well, just trying to deal with these 3 players left alive. The overcharges were popped off over by Choke. Ombrak pops his onto Opti as well. So now they're just sort of running back and forth. Mon is going to respawn and get back to this middle point, and Ascent half backed off into yard. The overcharge wasn't quite as good, and with Neo going down there, and Elikor as well, they're in a little bit of a tough spot. They got a lot of damage on Samsey, but he's once again able to escape, and here come the Soldier's bombs on all the Ascent players. Really not good positioning from Ascent, and they're having to back all the way off to last.
Yeah, that's exactly the situation Swift baits or tries to get off a lot of the times. Just a weird little Uber fight there on mid, and the second hold was effectively not there anymore, so they just walked in with the one pick they have, and they do it once again with 2 down here on last play the point aggressively, but people are contesting so much damage on a point, and eventually it's enough for Swift to take it.
Yeah, well played by Swift with that last push. I mean, not a whole lot Ascent could do in that situation. Basically, you just need to not lose the fight that happened before that.
Yeah, exactly.
At least not that dominatingly.
That was basically all on second. Just the mid Uber scenario just kind of decided how all of this goes. Swift just played it much better. Ascent got in the way they wanted, but once they were there, they just didn't know what to do anymore.
Elikor going lower is going to get that pack. Neither Smear nor him very healthy at the start of this. See if anybody wants to get super aggressive off of that. It is going to be Medico getting aggressive first, or maybe just Baton coming back for his team. Now he's going to commit more solidly, getting aggressive onto Smear, but Smear's still got a lot of health on him. Medico going to be the first one taken down. There goes Core back right after him, and Elikor falls as well. No more explosions on the side of Ascent. Going to have to run out. They get 1 for their trouble. OP will trade for Chris, but that's not good enough. And Ombrak goes down. No, that's not what they wanted at all. This is going to be a full wipe. Yes, it will. Samsey finds the last one in that, and once again, 5 alive on the side of Swift.
Once again, Ascent Sol is just unable to really put up any pressure, and on a rebound there, Chris kinda died pretty early, but delayed enough for his team to be able to chase them down into yard and take some more lives, including Ombrak. Full ad for last is looking really sketchy, but they did it once before. They might be able to do it again. Opti on Sniper. If he hits a hero shot, it could be big for his team. Sentry being built again as well, and that's what they're kind of relying on for now.
Here comes the pop, not taking any chances with Opteon Sniper, and they're actually going to get him before he can backspawn, so that is not a good play by the Sniper. Just goes down, getting nothing for it. Sentry Gun gets taken out fairly quickly as well, but it's still a 5-on-5, and the Uber has faded. Corback with a big bomb gets one frag, and now chasing in on Smear, throws off in the air, and he should go down. That was a nice rocket by Corback. Cleans him up mid-air. Mon as well getting cleaned up by Neo, so that was a very well-placed defense by them. Just let the Uber charge fade out, now they're on second.
Yeah, these Zua pushes are looking kind of sketchy. We've seen the first one fail at the very beginning of the game, and the second one here as well right now, not being able to do much besides getting the sniper, and not really that much space either on last. And with that, Ascent unable to retaliate, but they only get 2 mid before Chris gets to Ombrak first.
That is not good. That's the second time they've managed to push out, but Ombrak just goes down. The first time was to a sniper, this time was hiding soldier. We'll see what the rest of Swift want to do. I mean, there's players all around them. Elicor gets cleaned up. Connor will trade for Medico. That's the medic, so a great play by the soldier player on Ascent. Leaves only 4 left alive on Swift, but with Ombrak respawning a little bit quicker, they don't know the positioning, they don't know the players here, but they will have that Uber ad.
Yeah, Ascent got the best of the worst situation here, basically. At that point, they had nothing to lose. They just really wanted Ombrak and really wanted Connor, even. And as the team in the defensive seat here, Swift in that case, you really need to be ready for it if you kill the other medic in these sort of situations. And you can't afford to do something like this, so Ascent will gladly take this advantage now. It's like nothing much happened. Sure, the advantage isn't as big as last time, but they have it again. So they're gonna be happy with pushing over the far side of the yard here.
Yeah, they want to make the most of this. It's not a crazy huge ad, so they want to be able to go pretty quickly, and before they even get it, they're just getting 100% now. They've managed to take some ground off of it, which is really nice. We'll see if they're able to take mid off this as well. They're going to pop, and they really want to go aggressive with this. They're already bombing forward, but the rest of Swift are sort of out. They're not getting anything at all for this Uber charge besides the middle points, and Swift are going to be very happy to just walk right back in here.
Yeah, and that they're doing immediately from Cho coming in. Obviously, you don't want to use in this situation, but in Connor's case, he really was forced. A lot of damage onto him. Medico will die for his trouble. Everybody else gets out safely, though, so mid might be lost, but the evil situation again in their favor. Swift, however, knows no stopping, just going forward. The one pick at Ombrak gets called out for it. Connor goes so weak, though, Corbin cleans him up.
Wow, that's both medics getting taken down. I mean, Corback also falling, though, puts numbers advantage in favor of Swift. As I say that, though, Mon goes down, Elicor trades, though, once again, numbers in favor of Swift, and they're already in last. Not even capped off that second one yet. Medico's in a lot of damage, kind of lost, firing wildly around him. Just trying to hit those pistol shots, and Samsy will get it before he gets back into spawn. Now the rest of Swift push forward. There was a heavy up on the field, but he does get cleaned up. Corback trying to defend the point, and with Neil there as well, they will be able to hold on to it. A little too aggressive on the side of Swift. And with a slight Uber charge disadvantage for them, they might even lose Poppy here. No, he's going to be able to get out. A Corback wants this frag.
He'll get the arrow will do the job. That was like the last 30 seconds or so was about as swift as it can go. Just really aggressive on mid, taking the chase into second, really aggressive here with a single pick. And then Connor dies, which is about as surprising as like nothing else here in this game. Just they're aggressive. That's one thing you need to like punish with them, just finding Connor alone in situations, because they all will go aggressive at times. And that's the one pick you need to find in these situations.
Chris does die as he's getting aggressive on the Ascent combo. So that puts numbers in favor of Ascent. Now they're trying to get in on Samsy as well, but he eats a nice rocket, and Corback gets the finish off on him. So it is even Uber charges, but with 2 players going down. Swift backing off to their yard. We'll see if Ascent want to get any more aggressive off this. Once again, they still have that numbers ad for quite a long time. Samsy's respawn. Oh no, look at them. They're going on this left-hand side. They've managed to get in with their medic, and now they're going for this wraparound play. It's Neo, Corback, and Ombrak already in this yard.
Connor gets forced just right out of position.
Yeah, that's going to make the Uber charge way better for Ombrak. He still hasn't popped. He's even going to need to. He's going to drop his soldier. He might drop Neo as well here. This could be dangerous. He has it. Finally, he's going to pop it off. Neo doesn't end up dying. Only 1 player dropped from that. So much later. They're going to get 2 frags for it, with Chris and Poppy both getting taken down. The Switcher's still here on the second point, and with Smear getting the sticky trap, Neo and Ombrak both getting taken down. Oh man, I mean, it's just not going in favor of Ascent. They're 3 alive, and they're running for the hills.
Yeah, Ascent just couldn't get good position together. They just had people all over the place, but nothing much with Ombrak in these situations where they just needed to protect him. And getting forced in the first place was kind of bad. Obviously, losing your medic like that is even worse. And even then, they didn't have that many people on the push there anyways. They just tried to go forward with what they had, and Swift had his eye just where he needed him to be. So where it will be for Swift. Medico will spawn in time for the forward spawn, so they have everything on second. Besides an Uber charge, they need to defend from one now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to hold on to this yard position. I mean, we'll see basically how aggressive Swift want to take this. They're already walking in this right-hand side, and Ascent are going to give that up pretty easily, as expected by them. They're only at 75%. They will have it for last or maybe second if they choose to stay here, and it looks like they probably will. They're already at 90%, so this isn't the disaster zone for them. Just because of that Uber charge disadvantage, they're going to have to play a little bit more passively, and we're back to things evened out in terms of numbers and Uber charge, but it looks like Swift are coming in this left-hand side.
Chris is trying, and he finds the kill onto Medico, just ever so slightly too forward. Can't escape from that. That's a pick. Let's see if they have something in store for us in this one pick situation. They had before. Let's see if they have once again. They just decide to pop over the point this time around.
Yeah, Chris in the back lines as well, and looks like his soldier friend's going to pop up here and will finish off Corback. So that's 2 down on the side of Ascent. No more soldiers. In from the back though, Mon still here fighting, pushing the rest of Ascent players back out. Neo going to end up trading with Poppy. And they're in on this last point, 4 left to defend. Swift, do they want to commit to this? That's the question. The respawns come up in 6 seconds. Their own 6 seconds as well, but he's got to walk all the way back. Looks like Mon is in, but he's a big rock, and he's going to get taken down in the end by Opti. And they're going to end up sitting back on second, not able to secure that last point. Ascent are poking in. Now, it's even Uber charges. That one pick might tempt Ascent to push forward here, but it looks like they're still just sort of spamming back and forth. And now they're starting to commit with the frag on a smear. That's exactly what they need. Frag's going all the way back and forth, back and forth. Looks like just trying to get out here. Connor needs to make sure he stays alive. Doesn't have Uber charge just yet. They're fighting on the second point. Nobody wants to give it up, but Sam's getting cleaned up. He's only 1 left alive, and it's Connor at 99%. Gets the saw. Oh, he's going to be able to get that Uber charge off. Running away for his life. Will he be able to meet up with his team? Yes, he will. What an escape from Connor.
But it effectively gave Ombrek still Uber advantage. So yeah, he survived, but still it's much better for Ascent here. And they just really wanted to just DM it out there with scouts on second, but against the soldier who can just have the easiest time spamming around the corner to kill them, I don't agree with this decision at all, and it got punished really quickly.
Yeah, now Ascent in the driver's seat. They can probably take this pretty far as long as they're quick with it. Getting into the middle point just now. They gotta watch out for Chris. It's been forced by a soldier at this point before. I think they got the frag last time on Ombrak. But Ascent have spotted out all the hiding players. Chris still wants to get aggressive, but he's so low up, he's gonna be able to win that 1v1 fairly easily. And middle point going in favor of Ascent. They're already in yard as well, and Smear's in a bit of trouble. If he goes down, this could be big. Poppy as well, just trying to get in from back lines, and Ombrak was forced, so this is not good for Ascent. They got a whole lot of space off of it, but it's just going to be leapfrogged back as soon as Swift want to pop and get aggressive.
Yeah, they just need a good area of approach here. Right now they're trying to just defend themselves more than anything. Eventually they find Neo, this soldier back on the far side of Yard and pushing forward with this Uber aggressively over Yard. Finding one more kill, Alakur it is. That's good kills to have, but Smith completely out of position with everybody. Everybody just pushed him to the right side. Abdomen alone on the left.
That was a nice frag. Medico's still going for more as well. Samsy running for his life. He's getting some packs, so we'll be able to heal back up. But yeah, that's going to be Swift with 4 alive sitting on this middle point. Medico, I mean, he's still hungry after that big air shot that he just hit. But being forced to run back to his team and sit back, regroup. Ascent, they do have that slight Uber charge advantage with 20%, and they are building that pretty quickly. So they may be able to just push right back into this middle point, and I think that is their plan. But Swift, they don't look too ready to defend from this. They think they might just back off.
Yes, one will come in. That's Chris trying his hardest, but Ombrek will get through that. Mon is well pretty close, and that will do the job just fine in the end. But with Connor still closer around the corner, just an Uber pop in their face. Slightly better, but on worse numbers.
Neo's trying to get aggressive, and he will actually hit that one frag. Now he's in 1v1 with Sanzi, but very little HP. Getting pistol down, will finally lose that one. But Sanzi not out of the woods just yet. Still fighting a 1v1 against Medico, and over on this open area finally gets cleaned up by a fight from Elikor. And meanwhile, the rest of his team did manage to get all the way back out to yard, including Connor, which is the important medic escape. Uber charges both still going to be even as they were at the beginning of that fight, so middle point finally is getting traded in favor of Ascent. A little bit dangerous for them there, but it seems like we're just going to sort of neutralize back to where we were.
Yeah, and once again, little stalemate here, and be interested to see how they approach it. Last time we just had some single sags with spam followed up. This time around, they're already getting a little bit more aggressive before they even have the spam from Choke coming in. Nothing much happening at garage until now. Corvik just walks through, doesn't jump though. Everybody just really far back, not a good time jumping there. Medico eventually will do the job, gets denied mightily, but he finds a good rocket, not a second one though.
That would have been a big air shot if he'd managed to hit it, but some nice surfs, and Medic's gonna live there, so. Both still alive, and there's no counter sack or anything from Swift. They were all pretty far back, so not like you can really commit to that. You know, for a Granary game, we haven't seen too many stalemates. It's been very back and forth so far, which is awesome to see as a viewer. But right now we are at a little bit of a hold, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll see some more sacks coming out pretty soon, and hopefully Swift will get an opportunity to push aggressively.
Well, it's this mild change of pace now, because the last stalemate was an even score, I think, and this time it's heavily favoring Swift, so they have much more to lose by messing up the push or any sort of play here, which means it's all onto Ascent right now to really break into the second hold successfully, and we're seeing just that, Swift being pretty passive for their standards at least, and Ascent are the ones forced to make some moves here.
Yeah, they got about 10.5 minutes to do it, 10:42 on the clock. So it's not like their backs are totally against the wall, but they need to get things moving, and Ombrak being thrown up in the air is not what they want. He's going to have to pop that off as Opti gets taken down. Ascent's in a really bad position here. That was not the kind of pop in the second that they really wanted. They're still going to throw some players forward, but Corback doesn't get anything at all. Connor takes a little bit of damage, but he's not going to have to pop. In mid, Samsy's already here. He's going to be pushing everybody from Ascent out. Nobody's waiting to hide or anything like that. So, Ascent, I mean, it just keeps getting worse for them.
Yeah, the moment Ombrak was that high up in the air and could force everybody on Swift was just immediately storming forward. Best case scenario would be that that Ascent wouldn't back off. They would just pop in their face and destroy them, but Ascent realized how bad it was, backed off as quickly as they could while still invincible, not able to do anything with this Ubercharge.
They've been managed to build up their Uber pretty quickly, already at 80% from Ombrak, but of course Connor didn't have to pop last time, so they're still at 100. Getting ready to get aggressive onto the second point. If they could get a third round here with only about 9.5 minutes to go, that would put them in a very dominating position. Ascent need to turn this around right now. They have managed to get up to 100% Uber charge, and they're still holding on to the second point as well. So it's not like they're holding last or anything just yet, but as you said, Swift don't have huge incentive to push. They're fine just sort of sitting back here. Medico going for a flank fight. Samsy in the 1v1 loses it though, so nothing able for him. And once again, we're in a 5v6 favoring Swift.
Yeah, and that's, like I mentioned, the situation that they like to go off. And we're seeing that once again, just popping over the point. However, much worse Uber for them in this trade. And Ascent just forces them back out. Flank is active though. Chris gets the kill on the flank. Spiller gets two. With these stickies just recontesting off of the attention that the flank took to themselves, and that's just steamrolls into last from here.
Oh, there's no way they're able to hold this, surely. 2 soldiers left alive against 5 players. 1 goes down. Corback, nothing he can do. That's going to be the last one going in favor of Swift. 3-0. And that post-Uber fight that we just saw was just so heavily in favor of Swift. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, they're just in the element in these sort of situations. They just get the kill anywhere and take the exchange, abuse the flank, take attention away, and just immediately destroys the combo the moment they didn't have full attention.
Just over 8 minutes on that clock. Ascent needs to be able to get at least 3 rounds to tie up the game. 4th, they want to be able to win it. Elcor taking a little bit of damage early. Spamming down on a smear as well. This mid's vital for them to get things rolling if they want to win this. Medico bombed forward up on a Samsy. Not able to hit that air shot. Now we're going to see Chris bombing aggressively. Gets a lot of damage before back. Elcor as well, eating so much, but not able to get those cleanup frags. Meanwhile, it was all Ascent who are getting the frags here. A nice air shot from Corback. Landed onto Samsy. Now it's just Mon, the only fragging class still alive, and he does not look long to roll. Connor, the final player remaining, and he's just going to suicide on second. Corback gets the credit for that one, and that is a full wipe. That's what Ascent needed.
Yeah, they really realized what went on these mids. They couldn't get much started, so instead they just waited for them to do the first move and completely denied the Saudis before they could do anything. Both Chris and Puppy melted mid-air, and from then it was just storming forward once they had the plan. So smart adaptation by Ascent, a necessary one at that, and with this little time left, having a potentially quick round like this is crucial for them.
Yeah, they're going to need to get this Uber charge pop in a last. They will force the sniper back. That's Mr. Epic going to be getting back in there. The sentry gun doesn't last long, but they lose Corback and are at a numbers disadvantage, although Neo also getting taken down. They get the demo man Frags going back and forth all over the place, and everybody from Ascent has just instantly died. What went wrong with that push?
Poppy and Chris did so much to keep half the team out of the last point in general. It's not uncommon to see like a 3-3 split between like the combo and the flank, just pushing in with the combo first, the flank second, but the Sollies just denied the flank completely, took down 2, and they were just completely outnumbered at that point on last.
That's heartbreaking for Ascent. Just as they were starting to pick up the pace, completely shut down by SVIFT. Now they're already capping their middle points, and with Ubercharge advantage, they don't look like they're going to slow down. They could choose to poke in a second, or they can just sit for the next 6.5 minutes if they really wanted to. As you mentioned, there's really no pressure for SVIFT to try to get more rounds if they don't want to, but Ascent, they got to make something happen in this situation. 75% Ubercharge. SVIFT are not going to be moving off of that middle point, choosing just to play it safe, but at this situation, I mean, it's going to be so tough for Ascent to come back. They have the Ubercharge now, so they're going to try to make something happen.
Yeah, and you can just tell that SVIFT knows exactly what they're doing. They had like 40% advantage coming into mid, and they wisely chose not to use it with this little time left on this scoreline. They're just running the clock down right now, regardless of how aggressive the team in there. However, SVIFT completely out of position, completely alone in choke. Ascent just in with that.
But they managed to run their scouts in so far up, he finally gets taken down, but he made so much space for his team. Medico with the bomb now will get in behind the enemy team, does get cleaned up though. And both Ubercharges were popped off, and that's going to be a little bit better for Ascent, but not really too much that they can do anything off of. Spam some stickies down in there, but Elikor, a little too extended, will get taken down by Poppy. That leaves only 3 Ascent players left alive, so I appreciate that they tried something. They're against the clock. They need to push in, even if it's just an Uber even trade, but it didn't go their way. Now they're all the way back on last.
Yeah, and you can just tell Ascent is getting desperate. They really wanted to make use of that smaller pick, but everybody on SVIFT just really nice reaction and Uber exchange and had a much better one as a result of that. Even Uber's again on last with 5 minutes left on a 3-hour scoreline. It's getting really sketchy. They were thinking about setting up a defense right here for a minute, but at this point, what for? SVIFT has no incentive to push, and Ascent are the ones to have to make the move here, so I'll be back to scout.
Yeah, Chris is taking quite a bit of damage over on the flank, but it's going to be Elikor, the one to go down in this even situation. Is that going to be enough? A demo frag to make SVIFT want to push in, try to make it a 4-0 scoreline? It looks like it will. They're already getting aggressive on this right-hand side with their whole combo. I mean, Cornpop is trying to get some spam down onto him. Neo's there as well to just try to pop that Ubercharge if they're going to use it. They don't want to let them waste too much time. Neo's eating a lot of damage. This allowed Chris to get right in onto the medic. He's going to be able to get so much damage on Ombrak, but he hasn't popped yet. They will get the frag on Opti and maybe a 1-for-1 trade, but Ombrak vitally not having to pop there.
And even now that SVIFT is actually doing something, still playing it safe, they didn't commit really aggressively, just waiting on the corner, trying to force Ombrak with all they had. Didn't work, doesn't matter, they can just wait around this corner here right now and go for the fight on second instead.
Yeah, now the Ubercharges have been exchanged on second, as you mentioned, so less threat of that last point being capped off. Will be a soldier 1-for-1 trade. Nobody else from SVIFT is really going for that back half. Fighting on the second, but Elikor very low, and Opti as well does get dropped right after that Ubercharge fades, and the medic's being pushed on Ombrak in a 1v1 against Samsey. He's in such a rough position. Neo against 4. This is so hard, and he will get taken down. 5 seconds of the most recent respawn, and that is going to be 4-0 in favor of SVIFT. We might be in garbage time here. I think we definitely are.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's not too surprising after that little push there. SVIFT just playing it smart, playing around the fact that, again, just to take attention away with the player behind and just push in over them, being distracted over the point. Worked twice this game and really successfully so. Taking the 4-hour lead, and with 3 minutes left, it's even in the most optimistic case, it's not quite possible, so it's mostly just for honor at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we can see if Ascent could maybe get 1 round on the board, lift their spirits for the second map. I mean, that would be the best case scenario for them. Or if SVIFT just want to crush them even harder, make it a 5-0 roll, that would be uplifting for their side. But 3 down on this mid-fight for SVIFT. I mean, that's going to help Ascent if they want to get at least 1 on the board. Connor manages to make it out alive with 2 scouts, so the building will be in full force for probably second. Samsey's getting that frag on Elikor as well. I'm noticing Elikor's dying a whole lot.
Yeah, especially at the later end of this game.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate because they play really tank-heavy demo style, and losing that central player is such a big deal anyway, though. Ascent just coming in aggressive here, they don't have anything to lose at this point, they might as well just try, but Uber just gets popped in their face. However, not with a lot of pressure onto Ascent players by SVIFT, so they just kind of have to reply, force them out with that, but Neo and Cornpop going down.
Still pushing forward here, Swift, along with Mr. Epic on the Beggar's Bazooka. Gonna be able to jump forward with that, and we'll see how that works for him on this middle point push. They have slight overcharge advantage, but nobody's gonna get it in this one. Chris taking quite a bit of damage. Mr. Epic with that bomb. He seems quite good with it. He's getting pretty aggressive, throwing those rockets around. Oh my god, he hit the air shot? Really? Mr. Epic. What?
Actual Go Casino.
Okay then, the Beggar's Bazooka is way too good of a gun, clearly. Mr. Epic's the best player in the game.
RNG air shots, why not? And then he consequently dies immediately after, so there we go, karma is a thing. And Swift push in general not looking too strong here, but they have viewer charge to back themselves off with. Trying to make it a little bit better with that, and killing Opti is maybe just good enough to secure at least second, if not another round here on the board.
They're gonna get Elicor walled? Never mind, maybe I spoke too soon. Nah, he finally does get cleaned up, but he managed to win the 1v1 against the Scout, which is more than I was about to give him credit for, so good on him for that. Medico hiding here on second, but all he's gonna be able to get is probably Samsy. Is he even gonna get that frag? It doesn't look like he will, just dies in the end, so that's not ideal for him. With about 45 seconds left on that clock, the question remaining here is Swift's gonna make it a 5-0 on the scoreboard. Gonna be able to push in the last supercharge.
And they don't even need to necessarily. They have good respawn time still left on those dead players.
Mr. Epic with another bomb in the Beggar's Bazooka. Not able to hit any crazy rockets this time. It is going to be a 5-0 though, as Samsy comes in and steps on the points. Disappointing for Ascent.
Definitely, but if you just let Swift do their thing, it's tough to stop them later on. And they even played it smart towards the end instead of just like keep going and taking risk when they didn't need to. They are playing much more conservatively towards the 3-0 scoreline. And that made a whole lot of a difference.
Yeah, we should have some stats up here, and
any moment at least. But you know how these things are in TF2, everything takes a while. There we go.
Alright, well, unsurprisingly, the team that won 5-0 is seemingly ahead in both damage and kills.
That's not really surprising, but I mean, how much is there to say about 5-0 that like can be said about logs that can't be seen in the game necessarily? Because score, like the stats only show you that much about the game, and it's not like there wasn't some back and forth in this game. Especially the third round was a pretty long one, so like that sort of thing is not accurately depicted here, but still nice to see who did incredibly well. Which in this case were definitely the Scouts, and Smither as well on the demo went top damaging once more, almost breaking the 300 DPM. Not quite, nobody did this game, but he was close.
And there's one thing that I kind of mentioned before we saw the log page, and other than Chris, who was just the feed roamer bombing in over and over and over again with 21 deaths, it is Elicor top in the death chart, tying with Medico, 20 deaths for Demoman. Generally, you want to try to keep that class alive. You want to keep all your players alive, but Demoman especially. And again, especially on Granary here, him dying 20 times, I felt like was one of their biggest problems. It was always kind of late into the fight, late into the match as well. So that was one thing, but I mean, there's a whole lot of issues in a 5-0. It can never be attributed to just one player.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it could be that like he played bad. It could be the consequences of like all of them playing bad, and it just dragged into his playstyle as well. Maybe a little bit of both. We don't know for sure what happened in the gameplay exactly, but the end result is that like the demo man that took the second most heal, maybe the most if we're taking into account that Scouts are the ones building a lot, then you don't want to have this guy die that much. That's why you take so many resources into keeping him alive in the first place.
For sure. And our next map is going to be Gullywash. So I hope this one goes a little bit better for them. We didn't talk about this before the match started off, but do you think that that was kind of the best chance for Ascent, or was that kind of their, okay, throwaway map? Now it's Gullywash, this is where they have their best shot to at least get a round, let alone win.
I think Gullywash is a slightly better bet for them, especially in the mid-fight. We saw like a slight little adaptation there over the course of the game, like really good start for Swift on the mid-fight, and eventually got closer and closer as they dealt with the Solis better and better on Ascent. But obviously that still wasn't quite enough to close out rounds with in the end. I think this Gully mids are quite a bit better on paper. The question is how that stacks up against a team like Swift at the end of the day. And we'll see pretty soon how that will work out. But in theory, I think they have a better chance with Gullywash.
I would hope so. I mean, they're going to need more than just a better chance. With that last game being so dominating, it feels like they really need a miracle, a super shift if they want to be able to take this map. At the end of the day, I mean, nothing really matters unless you can... a 4-3 is the same as a 5-0 in terms of the final score line. It's still that W on the enemy team's score sheet, so... They need to be able to pull out some sort of a big change. I don't know what it would be, but they're struggling so much back on that last map. The French squad are going to need to make some adaptations for the second map. And it's a little bit telling, even with SVIFT having a sub in here, or a Merc with Mr. Epic. You know, they're not even playing with their full strength, and they're still just completely destroying their, supposedly, the third place predicted team.
Yeah, and like one of the big factors that we noticed a couple of times on Granary was these like one player, these single pick situations that SVIFT was just capitalizing on really well with Uber exchanges on top of that. Like on second, we had a couple of those where just somebody died randomly in some fight, and they just pushed in with that, abused the flank perfectly, took attention away with the combo as well, and just controlled the game so well in these situations while just one pick was had. It's going to be really interesting how this translates to Gullywash, or if Ascent has caught onto this enough that they know how to deal with this here better than they did on Granary.
I imagine that Ascent are going to kind of take a minute here. I imagine they're talking amongst themselves in their mumble. I hope they're trying to work out what went wrong. I hope they're talking about that last match. Even like the latter 3 minutes of the last map. I hope at that point they just sat down and said, all right, well, what do we need to do to make sure that doesn't happen again on Gullywash? Because a lot of it can be that mindset. Once you get 5-0'd so dominantly against a team that you predicted to be maybe not like super close with, but you know, close enough that it shouldn't be a 5-0, and then you get beaten so bad, you need to make sure you stay in a good mental state. And I really hope that Ascent right now are calming down. That was the first game. Nothing in that game affects this game. Come into it with a clean slate, and hopefully they can at least tie it, well, best case scenario, tie it up in the overall series.
Yeah, for sure. They can't get into their own head at all. SVIFT, on the other hand, had just the whole momentum riding in their favor right now. So even just not being a really, really fast playstyle here for the first few minutes of the game could actually help just to keep down SVIFT's momentum coming in from the first map, maybe.
Yeah, if they want to play the first mid a little bit more passive, the first whole round, and just take their time with it, build back up, take a couple of fights that they can, you know, hopefully win, start things off strong. I mean, a strong mid fight even can completely change that mindset. Even if you're going into this like, oh, we suck. If you like get 4 kills on mid and then like push into their second, I mean, you can already be like, okay, we're winning. We're the ones in the hype mindscape. And you know, similarly on the side of SVIFT, you can be all hype and funny and laughing in your mumble, having a good time, but as soon as if you come out and get wiped on the first mid, things are going to get serious real quick.
Yeah, for sure. They really don't want that, and we're still waiting for Omberg to arrive, but everybody else is here. I'd be curious to see what they have. I've seen Ascent sometimes, but not a whole lot for sure, try having a sniper to mid, mostly on pros. Gullywash allows for it, however, as well. Granary obviously not that much, just due to the great layout and stuff. But here it would be possible, so if they want to have a drastic change, that's something that they are technically capable of doing. How much they actually trained it, I don't know, but I've seen them do it in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you can park a sniper in big door at mid, and this is one of the better mids for bringing a sniper to it, compared to some maps where it's just really not advised. But that is a good way to slow it down. Obviously, it can be risky if your sniper's not feeling it that day and he hits 0 shots. You're basically showing up 5v6, and at that point, you're pretty much bound to lose. So it's a difficult strategy, especially in a bad mind space. You want to make sure that your sniper player is actually ready for that and actually, you know, willing to take on that responsibility of, hey, I need to show up and hit something in order for my team to do well on this mid. So I don't know if I'm expecting that, but it would be something that I wouldn't be too surprised if it's seen.
Alright, second map, evening CP Gullywash. It will be SVIFT going into this as the winner of the first map. Let's see if they can get another one, or if Ascent can fight back.
Looks like Elcor's rolling out Choke, and Smear coming in through the big door. All of Swift, actually, are coming up on this right-hand side, just rotating around the enemy team's Choke. Put up a ring around the Rosie mid. Chris over on his own Choke, getting about 1v5, taking a lot of damage. Ombrak as well ate a lot, but it's going to be Neo, the first one taken down. Big bomb in by Poppy. He's getting a lot of damage down. A lot of frags, 2 already on the Medico, and Elcor. He will end up dying. Opti as well. Leaves only the combo alive for Ascent of Corback and the Medic, but there goes Ombrak, and he gets one for his trouble. Corback, I don't know if he can take down Mr. Epic and Connor in a situation like this. No, he will not. Cleaned up, so very close, but it will go in favor of Swift. And able to hold on to that Uber charge as well. 100% from Connor. Ombrak just spawning now, going to be able to start building that up once again. So, second point obviously going in favor of Swift, with everybody on Ascent dying and them not having an Uber charge. They're going to have to sit all the way back on last, and we'll probably see them try to roll this. This will be a very fast, very dominating last push in favor of Swift if they were able to win this. This is that headspace that we were kind of talking about, where if they're able to just get going, win the first round really quick, not losing a single fight, this would be bad.
Oh, excuse me, but my game unfortunately crashed.
Oh, that's alright. They're already in this last point, popping it off. They get the sentry gun down from Opti as Dispenser as well is down. They haven't got any actual kills yet, though. Medico is in the back lines now, getting ready for the flank, but he doesn't get anything. Epic and Smear both getting taken down from Elcor and Corback, though, and that is going to halt the push with a heavy of Neo getting the last frag onto Poppy. That leaves just 3 alive. Uber charge in favor of Ombrak. He didn't even have it, so he couldn't even pop in that fight. And the final frag going in favor of Corback as well, getting down Chris. That leaves only 2 alive on the attackers, so they're all the way back onto that middle point, and second's going to go back in favor of Ascent.
I am currently reconnecting. I think, yeah, there we go, loading screen, and should just take a second, so hang in there.
Alright. Yeah, Ascent just pushing this middle point now, getting aggressive here onto Poppy, but they do want to take this fight in the middle point. They're going to lose Elcor, and Connor's going to end up dropping to the pipe after Elcor gets taken down. This is the overcharge off from Ascent, and this should go very well for them. They're going to get the demo man as well. Neo gets that frag, but Samsy in the back line is going to get a second frag on Opti. They got to watch out for Poppy, who has run all the way back and is currently capping that second point. They've got to run all their players back to deal with it. They only have 3 still alive. Poppy's wasting so much time. He's probably just going to die here. But regardless, he did a little bit of damage on Ombrak. Mr. Epic's now choosing to push off this. He also is going to get taken down by Neo. They're stacking so many players, but finally killed the Ombrak. Chris, wow, gets Neo as well. That was a really great bomb in by the soldier player of Chris.
Yeah, my favorite kind of backup, the one where you win even if you don't get the cap, and that was one of those situations. Didn't matter, just bought time for Chris to get in there and sneak up on an unsuspecting Ombrak. Really well done by Swift.
And Swift are rewarded with that middle point and also an Uber charge advantage, being able to get that kill onto Ombrak. So they're in a really nice position. Ascent, they thought they had a great push out onto that middle point, and they did, until it all kind of went wrong, letting that one player getting behind, and that sort of spiraled out of control. Now they've still got a little bit of pressure here on the second, but with such Uber charge advantage on Swift, I expect to see them kind of walk in and take this second more or less for free.
Yeah, and they just send in Poppy first, just to see what the situation is, and everybody relatively far back, so there they come, just slowly following up after, and there's not much Ascent can do in this situation. Swift just playing it careful, not wanting to use this Uber because they know if they don't get anything majorly done with this, Ombrak could just reply with his own in response to that, so they're taking the safe route, just having a safe of an entry into second as humanly possible, and take instead the even Uber situation for last.
For sure, and now Swift are in a pretty cozy spot. They're sitting over in lobby, getting ready to push in the last. It's even Uber charges. They can't go right away, although they are poking a couple of players in. Nobody's died just yet, but they're kind of in a position where they can just wait, sacking some players sort of one at a time. They don't have to be too worried, especially with that gun going down. That's going to help them quite a bit. Allow them to send in Chris, who's going for that 4C. He's going to get it onto Ombrak.
And a point
That's what I wanted to get. Oh my gosh, you're right. There goes the melee from Chris, taking out Corback. Soldier player who bombed in, but the big thing here is it's 100% from Connor, and they almost have the point already.
Yeah, they got everything they wanted with that spam and then jump follow-up, and they just come in here with their push as well. Mon over the points, merges for the medic, gets Monhover struggling to find Elaku under the point, so while it still is decent for Swift, it's not gone quite as well as they wanted to, and they're struggling right now on the top area.
Yeah, that overcharge faded a little bit sooner than they wanted it to, and with Smear getting taken down there, you kind of focused the medic. They didn't really have a lot of point time, but it's not over just yet. The scouts in here, Samsy able to get a frag and cap off that point. Once again, 1-0 early in favor of Swift.
Yeah, they had a little bit of the wrong priorities. I think they were just focusing on work early on, but they had the right priorities later on. Just get on the point, we have enough time, just end this round and get on to the next one. So playing this really well, both to get the advantage and afterwards playing the push as well.
Mid-fight number 2 coming out between these two teams. Ascent trying to find their first round in the entire series. Cornpop very aggressive on a smear, gonna get the demo frag. That's really important for the soldier player. Throwing up in the air as well as Chris, not gonna be able to get anything. So that's 2 down already from the side of Swift, only losing Cornpop in the midst of this. And there goes the third, with the other soldier getting cleaned up. That was Poppy. So that was a lot better from Ascent. Just getting that demo man early is so important. They will, however, lose their own as Samsy's getting aggressive and Big Door just catches Elcor a little bit off guard.
Yeah, and they're still forward here by the Cornpop, connecting with the rest of them eventually on second after they kept off mid. So it all still works more or less in the favor with the Demoman and some firepower, but with the late spawn here on Poppy as well. It's not like Ascent have a much better situation on their hand, but they're still contesting aggressively, seeing what they can do, but they're taking so much spam in this upper area that they really can't keep contesting here.
So now Ascent in a pretty good position to get around the board. This is exactly what we just saw a couple minutes ago, except the roles are reversed. It's now Swift the one sitting on their last point, and there is a sentry gun once again being built up. It is by Samsy, who's got that level 1 just being built now, and they're going to be ready to hold on to this point. Last time, Swift were able to fairly easily push in this last point with a quick sack in after they get the gun. Can Ascent repeat that success?
They are focusing under the point. They want the point pressure while having something else, I imagine, on the table. So Opti and Medico will be waiting the sticks, forcing everybody to commit for that. Corbeck comes in with that slightly uncontested, but Ball is still there to protect the sniper. He will still go down, but current pressure is not quite off the table unless they all commit for that, and that's exactly what happens, and it allows for such easy, predictable positioning out of them, get nice force, but they're still so far forward.
He's on the point, he's gonna get the frag out of Connor, he's now in 1v1, he's so low. Surely Mr. Epic wins this. He does, but now Elcor is trying to come back in with that melee weapon. There's so many respawners, it doesn't matter. Ombrak gets 1 saw, but he can't get 2 more after that, so the respawners really shutting it down in favor of Swift. Ascent, they don't look done yet. They've run in a couple of players. They're just charging for that point. Opti's going to get 2. Samsy and Chris both cleaned up, but at this point, it's a bit of a feed. And I mean, Opti gets out, but the rest of them were just sort of in there throwing their lives away.
Yeah, they really just want to cheese away this round, similarly to what Swift was doing, but Swift had a little bit more of a plan there. Opti, however, sneaked just past them in lobby. Completely uncontested. Nobody's on the last part. He will come back, but he just has to watch him win the round in front of his eyes.
That's one way to do it. 1-1 is the even scoreline. Ascent finally getting around on the board, so this is already a better match than Granary was. Gullywash favoring them a little bit more with that sneaky back cap, but again, that was the first round on the board the whole series. They're gonna have to keep up with it. It's only a tie game. They can't get too celebratory just yet. Come on,
would be an Ascent game without backups.
Cornpop, however, very aggressive on this third mid, will get taken down by Poppy. The rest of the team, Mr. Epic a little bit low. Smear as well does get that arrow, but still being bombed forward by Medico, and Opti's back there as well in the 1v1 against Connor. Gonna get that frag, Will Medico, and he got 3 in that. Samsy finally gets a return frag onto Elcor, but Ascent are just doing so well. They got to clean up this one more scout player, one more scout, and Ombrak's got to do it himself.
Yeah, Ascent looking much better on these mid-fight. They just saw them come up their side and they just said, you want the space? Not unless we are still here. They just completely gunned them down. Solly's just jumping behind them at elbow and completely destroying them. Really well done to deny them the space they wanted to get there for free, like they did the first time around, I imagine. And yeah, really nice adaptation.
Now, Mr. Epic up on Sniper, pretty aggressive, not really looking at the right door, and he's going to back off before he's in too much trouble, so there's not really any threat of a crazy hero sniper play from Mr. Epic, but there was maybe something on the table there for him. He's going to return back to spawn, though, and change classes. Over to Pyro as they try to defend. It's about a 20% advantage for Ascent, so we'll see if they want to push. They are over in choke, only 15% as they manage to pop this off, and Mr. Epic does a whole lot, just pushing them back with that air blast. They will get the sentry gun as well as the Pyro, but other than that, there's 5 still alive on Swift. They're sort of back in spawn. They will pop the recharge off now, though, and this is not good for Ascent. They need to keep their players alive, and if they're going to lose Opti, Cornpop, and looks like Medico as well gets killed by Poppy. At least 3 alive, just running back out through Big Door, and Elcor staying over by the shutter. He will stay alive back with his team, but Ascent not a successful push in the last.
Smear dying late here is quite the issue without the Demoman lacking just the safety on the shutter door, and that seems to be enough with the spawns coming in now as well to just scare Swift all the way back to last, not going for this push, which seemed fairly possible while they had the free picks going for them. But not without that demo man. So Swift playing it really, really careful here. They're afraid of the back cap to happen once again. And Neo was ready for it for sure. He was just waiting in the lower.
Ascent not going to be caught by that Pyro twice, going into the lower area now. Trying to focus on that gun, they will get it, but Mr. Epic from behind with that Pyro flamethrower, not able to do a whole lot. Neo pisses him down, throwing up the air as Poppy is now in a 1v1 against Medico. Loses that one before Back's coming back in to stop it. Point got a little bit of cap time on it, but not a whole lot, and now Connor's able to pop the supercharge off onto Samzy the Heavy. That's going to do quite a bit for this defense. Ombrak in a 1v1 against Smear over in River. I don't expect him to live through this, no. Forced to run into the stickies, yeah.
These pushes would be decent if they had any more advantage in terms of Ubers than they have, because every time it goes well, they just ever so slightly miscalculate about the fact that Connor will come up on his Uber charge, and that just ends all these decent pushes completely right in the track.
Yeah, I agree 100%. If they'd gone, like, if they could make the push a little bit faster, it would work for them, but their recharges advantages are just so small when they're trying these pushes that it's allowing Connor to pop off, and at that point, it's just a complete disaster in favor of Swift. So now they've got Ubercharge advantage once again. They're looking to get into this middle point. It's fairly sizable, about 30%, a little over that, so they should be able to get it in here. The question is how hard are Ascent going to want to commit to this?
They're going from drop down, taking the safe area, but they still need to actually get to the players, and they're just approaching them at big door instead. So the wraparound from drop down actually helps out quite a bit there.
Yeah, 2 players committing to big door is really questionable from Ascent there. Really not sure what they were trying to accomplish. Regardless, it didn't go well for them. And now they're back on the second point with 2 down. They aren't going to be able to contest it at all. They can just get Ombrak out. This will be a success for them. But it looks like they might want to take some sort of a trade here. Stop this push before it gets all the way back to their last. That is what has happened. Again, they need to be able to make sure Ombrak gets out. They did trade 1 for 1. Elikor and Poppy both ended up dying there and still fighting here on second Ascent. The other 5 players will be able to get out. They lose the points, so they exchange Ubercharges. Not a whole lot happened in that fight, though.
Except that Swift got exactly the space they wanted, basically,
yeah.
And that is obviously in an otherwise pretty even situation. Much better for Swift in this case, forcing them back last in a position where they can't really push out with anything because they didn't get anything, so they just relocated this fight 1 point forward, which is just really convenient for the red team here. And they're already preparing for the stalemate, which we hadn't had too much of in this game, so Samzy now the first one to pull off the off-class on the offense here, while on defense we see Opti on Engineer once again.
He's poking in through lower here. They don't know there's a sniper, just that there's a scout standing still, and he's going to hit that headshot onto Neo. Taking the easy frag onto the scout. Not super impactful, but that will allow them to get a little bit more aggressive. Somebody on the point, actually, and it's Poppy. He's going to cap it off.
No sticks whatsoever, just absolutely nothing. Huge hole in the defense. And at that point, you deserve to lose like that, unfortunately enough.
Yeah, Ascent, they're not going to be happy about losing that round. Surely somebody should have been ready to deal with that. And Soldier just walking out behind the point with that pain train on. 2 times the cap speed, going to get it, making a 2-1 game in favor of Swift. Ascent need to be able to answer here. Now they're getting aggressive on this 4th midpoint. Korvac taking a little bit of damage after forcing the demo man back. Will be able to manage to return back to Ombrak. Chris took a little bit of damage. First point time going in favor of Swift. Now here comes Chris with the bomb. Trying to get aggressive on Neo. Doesn't work out for him. Medico down the back lines as well. Samzy getting aggressive on the Medico will be able to get the frag on Ombrak. And now it's all falling apart for Ascent. Everybody's so low, the few players they have left alive. They get Mr. Epic, but other than that, really what's it worth? Medico 4 HP. Where even is he? Oh, he's hiding.
With 4 HP, he can't even jump unless he gets the frag. He gets the unnoticed at least, but at this point he's still just stuck behind and they know exactly where he is, unlike before, so I don't know if that's necessarily worth it, but he didn't have much of a choice. He gets chased by people as well, Chris spawning now as well, while the rest of Swift is just moving forward, and Ascent can't do anything about that at this point. With the Uber advantage, they're just storming forward. Medico going down, eventually here just 2v1 by Chris and Samzy. Quick cap as well on second with the potential to do this all the way to last.
And now Medico's not even going to be up for the start of this last push as long as Swift push fast enough. They're going to be walking through right as Medico's starting to spawn, so him dying so late is going to be a disadvantage to this team. The sentry gun here wasn't quite spotted out beforehand. It will get taken down before the supercharge fades, but not a whole lot else happening for Swift here. We're back in the back line. He's going to be able to do some damage down onto Samzy. Some players getting aggressive here, but 3 down on the side of Ascent. The player on the point. Samzy caps it off 3-1.
Yeah, I think they found Ascent's Achilles heel in this game, which is the point. Just no matter what they do, once they play it, it's just over. In the first round it was a little bit more work, but ever since then, they just sneak away these rounds really quickly with some point play where Ascent just really have nothing to reply with.
And as that 4th round gets finished off, we're halfway through the map. 15 minutes left on that clock. Corback gonna be getting aggressive on this 5th mid fight, trying to get damage down to Connor. He did get some there. Chris going in through the enemy team's drop down pretty quick here as well. Gonna be right on top of Ombrak. Ombrak's eating so much damage. Surely he goes down at some point. Looks like Happy's gonna be bombing up here. It's gonna be Medical, the first one going down. 4 on 4. There goes Connor. Did get cleaned up by Corback, and now they're just pushing across the point. Ascent all back near their choke. Neo wants to be able to get something here, but he doesn't really have his team with him, and he's in a 1v2 down below now. Looks like Elcor backing off. We'll get one frag and make it 2 with the stickies onto Samzy. Still, Neo stayed alive in this middle point, and his team is able to come right back in. So Ascent played this really well despite losing that mid. Gonna be able to get all 6 frags and cap this right back up.
Yeah, at the end there, Ascent was just playing for the survival of Ombrak, just going back into safety. They knew they had the medic kill, so just played safe from there and we pushed with advantage. But people just really wanted something going down Swift and just kept feeding into choke. Speaking of that, Chris wants that as well, but unsuccessfully so, blown up by Elcor before he could touch Ombrak.
Yeah, speaking of feeding into choke there. Now we will see the last push come out, 100% on Ombrak, 65 on Connor at the moment, and of course still building that up. Second point just getting capped off now. There is a sentry gun and a heavy that they gotta watch out for. It's a level 3 at the moment. Elcor jumping forward, gets that sentry gun early. Mr. Epic actually dies in spawn, so that's a heavy down as well. So 2 players down already on the side of Swift. Getting Medico on that point, a little bit of cap time as well as a frag. Connor going down, this is all Ascent. Should be a last round. They just gotta take down the Demo Man. They just gotta take down the Demo Man. Finally, Medico does it.
They had really good coordination at the beginning there, just really nicely focused on everything, leading to a heavy kill as well inside spawn. And Samzy just not pressing, oh, Mr. Epic even pressing his class change button quickly enough. And really nice focus fire there, except for the Smurf part where they just wanted to play the point. And I could the only one who realized, let's just kill the Demo Man first.
Yeah, that could have been a disaster if they just completely ignored the demo, but thankfully able to get their second round on the board. Ascent want to mount this comeback now on this middle point. Corback thrown way up high in the air. He will survive, land on 35 HP, and that's going to be actually the first frag going in favor of Elcor. Poppy getting taken down. Here's a bomb in by Chris. Will get some damage down onto Ombrak. Kills himself in the process, but he is all right with that. Getting the medic frag. The other 4 players on Swift not choosing to commit to that too heavily, just sitting back on the second. With Connor staying alive, this is not a bad position at all for them.
Yeah, kind of similar situation we had in the last mid fight, except this time nobody feeds the choke, so Swift just kind of has to live with the situation and don't get the midpoint gifted to them, but they still can get it, certainly, like you said, with advantage in their favor. Approaching from big door here, so Ascent needs to be aware of that. They can't commit too much for this, but they want this Uber out of Connor. Not quite enough there for Corback, taking him down to 25. He's weak down, there's not many health picks around.
Doesn't look like anybody else on Ascent gonna be able to follow up on that damage, unfortunately. They just chose to throw in Corback. Was a pretty low chance of working for him. He had to go pretty deep in the enemy team. Got some damage down, but in the end that is gonna be Ascent back on their second with only 5 alive. Getting one off that respawn, and actually Smear getting taken down. That could halt their push just a little bit here. Elcor, nice job with those stickies.
Looks like it might just do the entire job of holding on this push entirely. Really nice sticky trap kill there, and 1 lapse of awareness for Smyrna will kill this entire push. Back to the stalemate here. Smyrna almost up again, but not quite on the field, so they're at least poking to see if they can get anything on the sand, but not too much to get. So nice attempted spam to force Connor, but not enough, and eventually they just force themselves in here.
Yeah, they've popped off, they've thrown in Corback, and they did get the pop out of Connor as well, but they've lost 2 now, opting Corback both. Taken down in that push, so not great for Ascent just yet. In behind there are Samzy and Chris trying to deal a little bit of damage, go for that big flank. Now Ombrak's way out of position, surely he goes down, yes he will. Smear gets that frag, there's 2 left alive on the side of Ascent, just trying to get some damage down on these scouts, and Samzy will find the frag on Medico, and Elcor gets 1 onto Mr. Epic, but he's still in on this last point, manages to survive somehow. Corback in there defending his Demo Man, and will get a second frag off with that shotgun of the Engineer, taking down Samzy. That leaves 3 alive, and they're already on the point. Yeah, Chris getting some time on it. Surely they stop him here, though. Yeah.
Yeah, the sticks were just not good enough with Miller. They were ever so slightly off the center there to actually hit the Engineer, I think, contesting him. So unfortunate, they actually could have just completely cheesed this away once again. But Ascent cleaning up quickly enough, able to hold onto this and even move out, but at the cost of quite a bit of Uber advantage. So Swift might just be able to take it away pretty quickly, which is still better than having them push it last with this Uber, but still unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I don't think the second point is gonna be too difficult for Swift. You see Ombrak and Neo pop, get aggressive up top, but not committing to that wisely, as they don't have Uber Charge just yet, only at 80% on Ombrak. So they're going to retreat back to last. They're going to have that Uber Charge for last, but oh man, they're just going for it. Looks like Swift already in here. Popped off from Ombrak as well, will get his Uber Charges. Hectic fighting all over the place. There's 2 down inside of Ascent, so this full commit hasn't gone too badly for Swift. Mr. Epic taking quite a bit of damage. Now they got some point time. Chris just standing on it. Doesn't have that pain train. Only 1x on the point, but now Medico is forced to jump on that. The last player left alive at a 1v5. Surely he can't. 4-2 in favor of Swift, and even Uber push.
Yeah, really nice target select. They were coming into that expecting an Ombrak to get, I would assume, so they just immediately switched targets once he popped to just anything else that was in range for them, but not for Ombrak, and it paid off having these 2 kills here. Allowed just Chris to sneak his way onto the point, take all the attention into the backlines while everybody else was just able to recontest immediately with that. Really well done.
Clock getting a little bit low for Ascent. 9 minutes. They need to get at least 2 rounds tied up here. Very important for them to be able to at least tie this game up, and oh, that's not going to help them. Medico going down in Big Door really early. Corback probably suffering the same fate, getting a lot of damage onto him. Elicor had a nice fight on a Chris there. Now from behind up, drop down, and it is going to be Poppy. Gets the frag on Ombrak, and well, Corback taking a bit of damage. And that is going to be a 4v4, still up and alive. Middle point being capped off by Ascent now, and oh, my game has crashed.
Well, widely concerning amount of tunnel vision down to the big door area, and nobody had eyes on the backlines. Puppy just able to sneak up there, and Ascent able to just get on the point, and hey, would you look at that, my game crashed as well.
I have
because there's an update. Who would have thought? Let's hope they don't have these issues. Oh boy.
If all... There's an update. If all 3 of us just crashed, I think it's probably safe to assume that some of the players probably crashed as well. We wouldn't have seen it because our 90 seconds delay.
Well, that is interesting. Let me check what the update is. It is important that it crashes the game. Several fixes addressing egg float and stability issues as well. I mean, that's kind of... It also fixed the client crash, so yeah, it won't crash next time. That is just the classic TF2, isn't it?
It's a very important update. They added the RGL tournament meadows.
Ooh, they also added the Copenhagen Games medal. That is interesting to me, at least.
So 5-2 on the scoreboard, we're being informed. So, alright, well, still, I mean, my update's done. 6-2 now?
Oh, the Sandman got buffed in that it actually works again, apparently. So, yay, Highlander gamers, I guess. I get the message this server you're trying to connect to is running an older version of the game.
Oh yeah, I did the update as well.
Oh, that is concerning. RIP. Oh, that is smart from Mr. Wiethoofd here. Hit us up with that info.
We're gonna try to get back in this match. At least we didn't miss like the beginning half of that. We kind of were at a point where we probably know who's gonna win this second game.
Yeah, that like happened earlier would be unfortunate because it's starting to be even at least.
Yeah, absolutely. If we were just like updating the score and like, oh, it's 1-1 now, that would be a shame that we missed it. But we did get most of it.
Alright, we're trying to do this over the middleman here, which is just production streaming to us, and we see the game this way, at least in some way. Maybe that will work.
Accepted? Yep.
Let's see if we still have a game going by the time we connect to this.
Yeah.
It's a slightly wasted effort, unfortunately.
Alert! The control point is being captured.
I see Alakur and Porksham in chat, so huge play by Alakur will keep them in the game potentially.
Secure the control point.
Scream
Mine is loading.
Yeah, mine's loading too. Maybe take a while, but big play by Alakur anyway. Maybe it will grant them the comeback.